So today we're going to take a look at slope. So slope is the measure of how steep a line is. Okay, so you can write that down actually. Um, so the steeper the line, the greater the slope. We can determine the slope in a couple of different ways, but the first way and the one that we're going to take a look at right now is using the formula rise over run. Okay. When we're talking about rise over run, and we'll just take a look at this line segment over here as an example. Okay, so this line segment over here, when we're talking about rise over run, we're talking about how high up does this rise go compared to the run. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to draw lines that represent the rise and the run from one endpoint to the other, or it could be one coordinate on a line to another coordinate on a line. So from this endpoint down here at the bottom, my rise line is going up like that. So this is my rise. And then this part right here is my run. Okay. So it does create a right angle triangle here. Okay. We're going to calculate that slope now. So slope, and you can also use the letter M if you like, is equal to rise over run. And you can write that down as much as you like until you kind of memorize it. So my rise in this case, when I go to count it, is 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 4 up. And then my run is positive or to the right 2. So 4 divided by 2 is 2. So therefore, my slope, I'm just going to write M is equal to 2. Or 2 over 1 if you wanted to kind of still see the ratio of rise over run. So let's get a little bit more practice with that. So we have some line segments over here. Let's start off first with the line segment AB. So from A to B, so it's from here to here, I'm going to again write rise over run. And my rise here is 1, 2, 3. And my run here is 1, 2. So 3 over 2. And I can't reduce this fraction, so I'm going to leave it as is. So this line, because it rises from left to right, has what we say a positive slope. Okay, so this is positive 3 over 2. Now let's take a look at the slope of the line CD. So this is the line CD. Let's go ahead and write our rise. So going from C to D, I'm actually going to go down. So here I'm going down 2. So my rise is down 2, and my run is still to the right 2. So negative 2 over 2. So my slope is equal to negative 1. And you can see I did get a negative slope. That's because this is a line dropping from left to right. So dropping from left to right, it has a negative slope. So just looking over at our diagram here for a minute, you can see that this line here, A to B, up to the right, that's positive. C, D, that's negative. So if we see something going up that way, it's positive. Something going down that way, it's negative. Now we're going to take a look at two other cases. The first one being E to F. So if I want to find the slope of this line here, and we can see that when I'm looking at that rise and that run, my rise is 0. I don't go up at all. My run in this case is 2, but it really doesn't matter because anything 0 divided by any number is just going to equal 0. So a horizontal line, like the line E to F, has 0 slope. Okay. Looking at the slope from G to H, this is a little bit of a different situation. So when I take a look at that rise, I'm actually going down, so that's negative 3, but my run, I'm not going anything to the right, okay, because this is a vertical line. This here, we know, is undefined. And when we see a vertical line like this, that's what we call the slope. So a vertical line has undefined slope. And that's always true. Okay, so we can keep that in mind when we're going through our work. Okay, so now let's take a look at this line. That's a continuous line that goes on and on forever. You can see the arrows at the end. Okay, so we're going to find the slope of this line. We now have to find the points to calculate the slope, okay, to make that triangle and calculate the slope. So I'm going to start off by picking 2 points on this line. This one is quite good right there. And then I could choose this one, or I could choose this one. You can see that those are good spots for me to choose points because I can see the coordinates. So I'm actually going to use this point here. Whoops. I'm going to use this point here and this point here, okay? But really, we could have used any of those, so you can keep that in mind. Okay, so I want to find slope, so I'm going to calculate my rise over my run. Okay, so starting down here from the left to the right, I'm going to rise up 2. And my run here is 1, 2, 3, 4. So when I reduce this fraction, it's a half. So notice that I could have gone up 1 and over 2 to this other coordinate. Either way, you get the same slope, okay? So therefore, m is equal to a half. Okay, so now we're given the slope of the line. We need to find another point of the line. So we can use slope in a couple different ways or to answer different questions. Let's start off by adding the point -3, 4 to our grid. So -3, 4 is right there. It's a little bit off, but you get the idea. And then we know that our slope is equal to -5 over 6. So if my slope is -5 over 6, I know that my rise is -5, which means I'm actually going to go down 5. And my run is 6. So from this point that I've drawn, I'm going to go down 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm going to go to the right 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm going to draw my second point right there. Okay. And so that second point right there, that's the other point on the line. If I wanted to draw the line, and I haven't quite figured out the line tool yet, but it would go through both of those points. Okay. For now, I'm going to state the conclusion. It was asking for the other point. So therefore, another point on the line would be, or you could say could be, 3, -1. Okay. Okay. Perfect. So now let's move on to defining slope as a rate of change. So this is another way to kind of take a look at slope. Let's first start by defining what rate of change is. So rate of change is defined as a change in one quantity with respect to a change in another quantity. So you're going to want to write that definition down for rate of change. And so an example is speed. So speed is a rate of change. So why is speed a rate of change? Well, it's a measure of the change in distance relative to a change in time. Okay, but really we're just taking a look at the change in y values compared to the change in x values when we're comparing two variables. So to determine the rate of change of a linear relation, you can do one of two things. You can find the slope of the line. Okay, the second thing that we've already talked about is calculating first differences. So that also gives us that rate. So calculate first differences. And that is from our table of values. Okay, so TOV, so from our table of values. And finding the slope of the line, obviously, that would be from our graph, okay, or from 2 points, and we'll get into that a little bit more. So a rate of change has to have units. We need to keep that in mind. So if you said, oh, I can run at a speed of 130, What would I mean? Well, that could be 130 meters per second. That could be 130, kilometers per hour. That's more like a car. Without units, we don't really know what that person is talking about in terms of speed. So keep in mind that we need to have units. Let's look at this example here. And this example has our independent variable as being the hours worked, and then we have our dependent variable being how much we get paid, okay? So first let's take a look at what the weekly pay is for 10 hours of work. Well, 10 hours of work takes me up to here. It's not the best graph, the numbers aren't right beside it, but this is $200 when I take a look at that line and look at where 10 hours of work is. So then it asks determine the rate of change for this linear relation. So I'm going to go ahead and find the slope. So our slope we know is rise over run. So I'm going to pick this point and this point here. So my rise is up 200. Okay. It's not 2, it's up 200. And my run is over 10. So you have to look at the scale. Okay, when you're taking a look at the rate of change. So 200 over 10 is 20, and we need to have units. So what does that mean? So this is $20 per hour. Okay, so our units are money per hour. So what does the rate of change represent? This represents the hourly wage. Okay, and again, that's $20 per hour. Okay, great. I hope all of that made sense. You can get set to do your practice work.